A distant galaxy trembled under tension. The stars shone cold and distant, but the planets below were anything but peaceful. Alien empires, vast and proud, patrolled the space lanes with endless fleets. Ships of silver, black, and bronze glided like predators through the void, scanning for threats. On each planet, millions of lives lived under constant fear. Governments enforced strict laws. Military patrols hovered above cities like shadows. The galaxy was a place of rules, control, and endless suspicion. But in the silence of deep space, a new signal began to ripple through the communication arrays of every alien fleet. Strange, irregular pulses, unlike any technology the aliens had ever seen. The signal was sharp, clear, and precise. It moved faster than any known ship, and it was heading toward the core of the galaxy. On the bridge of the massive Draxel command ship, Admiral Corrin froze. His 3 eyes scanned the screens as the signal flashed again. "Impossible," he muttered, his voice tense. "These readings, they match nothing in our records." The alien officers around him whispered among themselves. Fear was rising like wildfire. Reports came in from distant fleets. The signal moved faster than anything, but it left no trace. The sensors could detect it but could not predict it. The aliens had never faced such precision, such speed. "They are coming," one young officer said, his voice shaking. "The humans, they are coming." A chill ran through the room. Humans. The word alone carried weight. Across the galaxy, stories of humanity's unexpected attacks, strange strategies, and the ability to defeat fleets thought invincible were whispered in secret. The alien empires had fought each other for centuries, but humans were different. Unpredictable. Dangerous. Corrin leaned over the control panel. "Unpredictable?" he repeated, almost to himself. "They destroy fleets we consider unbeatable. They strike without warning and disappear. Entire systems fear them." His claws tapped nervously on the console. "Prepare the fleets. Alert all colonies. Nothing can be left unprotected." Meanwhile, far from the Draxel command ship, the first human vessel entered the system. It moved silently, almost like a shadow. Its hull was dark, absorbing light, sleek and compact, yet bristling with technology that no alien scanner could fully read. No alarms, no radio chatter, no signals. It was just there, appearing as if it had always been a part of the stars. Inside the human ship, Captain Mara Reed watched the screens calmly. Her hands rested lightly on the controls. "Sensors clear," she said softly. "No hostile activity, yet." Her crew worked efficiently, eyes scanning displays, fingers moving with practiced precision. They were calm, collected, and confident. Unlike the aliens, they had no fear. They knew the humans' power and they knew how to control it. Back on the alien planets, panic began to spread. Citizens looked to the skies, watching faint glimmers that could only be ships. Messages were sent, alarms sounded, and generals shouted orders, but confusion reigned. No one could predict what humans would do next. Would they attack? Offer peace? Or simply observe before making a devastating strike? On the bridge of the Draxel command ship, Admiral Corrin's claws clenched. "All fleets, converge on the signal. We must destroy it before it reaches our inner colonies." But deep inside he knew the truth. If the stories were true, destroying a human ship was not simple. Humans fought differently. They used strategy, technology, and a courage that defied every expectation. Many fleets had tried and many had failed. The human ship moved closer to the first inhabited planet in the system. Below, cities sparkled with lights, unaware of the approaching shadow. Children laughed in playgrounds, families dined under soft lights, and traders closed their markets. The humans above did not fire. They did not threaten. They simply observed. Every movement, every patrol, every defensive measure was noted, catalogued, and understood. On another alien command ship, Admiral Reichel swore under his breath. "They hesitate. Why? Are they testing us? Or is it something worse?" Corrin did not answer. He could not. The human strategy was unfamiliar. There was no fear in their movements, no rash decisions, no panic. Just patience. Just observation. And that was worse than any attack. The galaxy had learned to fear weapons. But humans made fear of strategy itself. And then, as the human ship glided past the planet, the first signs of intrigue appeared. Sensors picked up signals from nearby asteroid belts, human probes moving silently, scanning, analyzing. Alien ships tried to intercept, but they were too slow. The humans had anticipated every move, every defense, every potential threat. In the council chambers of the largest alien empire, leaders shouted and argued. They will conquer us, one said. No. They may negotiate, another countered. The debate was chaotic, but in their hearts each alien knew the truth. Humanity did not follow the rules of other species. They had their own code. And that code was unpredictable, unstoppable, and terrifying. Outside, the human ship drifted, almost floating through the stars. A shadow among shadows. No one knew its purpose. Was it here to trade, to negotiate, or to conquer? The galaxy waited, breath held. And above it all, the stars watched silently, indifferent to the fear below. The first signs of humans in the system had thrown the alien fleets into chaos. Every command ship, every patrol, every drone was alert, scanning the dark expanse for the source of the strange signals. Reports came in from distant scouts. A single human vessel had slipped past every sensor. No alarm, no warning, just a shadow drifting silently among the stars. Admiral Corrin stood on the bridge of the Draxel command ship, watching the displays flicker. "They've entered the inner system," he said, his voice low but tense. His claws tapped the console, creating sparks of nervous energy. How can a single ship move undetected like this?" A junior officer, trembling, answered, "Their technology, it's beyond anything we know. They hide in shadows, manipulate sensors. They are ghosts in space." Corrin swallowed hard. "Ghosts? Yes, that is exactly what they are. Alert all fleets. Prepare for engagement. But remember, we do not fully understand them. One wrong move and we may lose more than we can afford." Meanwhile, the human ship moved with silent precision. Captain Mara Reed observed the alien fleets forming ahead. They were numerous, heavily armed, and eager to attack. Yet Mara remained calm. "Maintain distance," she ordered. "We will not strike first. Observe. Learn. Prepare." Her crew worked quickly, scanning the alien formations. Information flowed into the ship like a river, every ship catalogued, every weapon identified, every weak point noted. Humans did not panic. Humans did not hesitate. They analyzed. They calculated. They waited for the right moment, not to strike but to act decisively if necessary. The first alien patrol detected the human vessel. Red alert sirens blared across the command ship. Admiral Reichel's voice echoed through the bridge. "Contact. Human vessel detected. Prepare for immediate engagement. Fire on my command." But the human ship did not move aggressively. Instead, it drifted closer, carefully avoiding asteroid fields, skimming the edge of the alien fleet's radar. The aliens fired warning shots, flashes of energy that lit the darkness. The human ship dodged effortlessly, weaving through the fire as if anticipating every attack before it even happened. On the alien bridge, officers gasped. How do they move like that?" one whispered. "It's impossible." Captain Reed, aboard her ship, smiled faintly. "They are learning," she said softly. "Every shot, every movement, they teach us exactly what we need to know." Then something unexpected happened. A small alien colony, under threat from a local raider fleet, sent out a desperate call for help. The humans did not ignore it. Their ship changed course, heading directly toward the colony. This was not an attack. This was aid. Admiral Corrin watched the move in disbelief. "Why would they?" he muttered. "They could strike us, destroy us, but they choose to help them?" The human ship arrived at the colony, hovering above the planet like a guardian. Small drones deployed from the ship, shielding the colony's cities, reinforcing defensive turrets, and even rescuing civilians trapped in the chaos. The alien raiders tried to attack, but the humans were already in position, their strategies flawless. Within minutes, the colony was safe. Not a single life lost. Not a single city damaged. Alien commanders were stunned. "They fight, and yet they do not destroy," one said, disbelief in his voice. Another muttered, "These humans, they are unpredictable. They are not like anyone we have fought before." But not all aliens were grateful. Some saw this as a threat. If humans could protect a planet, what would stop them from taking control? Corrin's mind raced. "We must engage. We cannot allow humans to grow unchecked. Prepare the main fleet. Full battle stations. But proceed carefully. One mistake and the galaxy will pay a heavy price." Meanwhile, the humans completed their mission. Captain Reed gave the order to withdraw. Their ship moved back into the shadows, leaving the alien fleets to question what they had just seen. Humans had struck without striking. They had intervened without attacking. Their message was clear. Humans were not mindless conquerors, but they were powerful. Precise. Strategic. Unpredictable. Across the galaxy, news of the encounter spread. Systems that had feared humans now whispered of awe and terror. The humans, they said. They're coming. They fight differently. They think differently. They do not act like the rest of us. And in the quiet of space, the first human vessel drifted once more, silent and patient, waiting for the next moment to act. No one knew what humans would do next. Trade? Diplomacy? Or perhaps a strike the galaxy would never forget. One thing was certain, humanity had arrived and the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy held its breath. News of humanity's arrival spread like wildfire through alien empires. Whispers filled council chambers, secret meetings, and crowded streets. They protect even when they can destroy, some said. They fight without fear, others muttered. But for the proud alien fleets, admiration quickly turned to anger. Pride could not tolerate human strange ways. Admiral Corrin's fleet moved with precision, forming a massive blockade around the system. Thousands of warships glinted in the distant starlight. Every cannon, every missile, every defense system was ready. Today we teach these humans respect, Corrin growled. They will learn that no one defies the Draxel Empire. In deep space, Captain Mara Reed observed the approaching fleet. Her eyes scanned the alien formation, vast, heavily armed, confident. Yet she felt no fear. Her crew worked quietly, checking weapon systems, shields, and navigation. Humans had trained for centuries, prepared for scenarios that alien minds could not even imagine. Patience was their weapon, strategy their armor. As the alien fleet advanced, they opened fire. Massive energy beams streaked through the darkness, lighting up asteroids, cutting across empty space. Humans responded, not with panic, not with blind aggression, but with calculated maneuvers. Mara gave orders, evasive patterns alpha. Shields to maximum. Prepare countermeasures. The human ship moved like a phantom, dodging shots with precision. Every attack the aliens launched was anticipated, every movement predicted. For the first time alien officers felt fear, not of weapons but of the human's mind. They move, as if they know our thoughts, one cried. Impossible. Then the humans struck, but not with destruction. Tiny drones deployed in perfect synchronization, disabling enemy weapons without harming crews. Energy nets wrapped around enemy ships, forcing them to halt. Alien captains shouted in confusion. What is this? They are capturing ships without killing anyone. Captain Reed's voice remained calm. Our goal is control, not destruction. We strike with precision, not chaos. Every move counts. In the chaos, a smaller alien fleet tried to flank the humans. They fired a surprise volley, hoping to break their formation. But humans anticipated it. Using warp jumps and synchronized maneuvers, they appeared behind the attackers, cutting off escape routes. The aliens panicked, their pride shattered. Ships that had once dominated entire sectors were now trapped, caught by humans who had never even engaged in direct battle until now. Back on the Draxel command ship, Admiral Corrin's 3 eyes burned with anger. Focus fire. Destroy them, he roared. But his officers hesitated. Their weapons, no matter how powerful, had little effect. Every strike was dodged, neutralized, or anticipated. The humans were not just surviving, they were dominating the engagement without breaking a single moral rule. For the first time, alien pilots began to whisper among themselves. Why don't they kill us? Why spare us? Some felt confusion, others fear. They had never encountered an enemy like this, one that fought with skill, courage, and restraint. Humanity was rewriting the rules of war. Amid the battle, civilians on nearby planets watched in awe and disbelief. Lights flickered across cities as alarms rang, but no destruction reached them. Human drones quietly reinforced planetary defenses, showing a strange mercy that alien fleets could not understand. Families whispered in hushed tones, the humans, they fight for more than just victory. They fight for honor, for life. As the engagement reached its peak, Captain Reed made a decisive move. She sent a signal to the alien admirals, a simple message, clear and unwavering. Yield. We do not wish to destroy. We seek only to defend and to teach that strength comes with honor. Corrin snarled. Yield? How dare they? But deep inside even he hesitated. His pride demanded attack, but his mind could not ignore the truth. The humans were not just fighters, they were unmatched strategists, calm, fearless, and morally resolute. Defeating them required more than brute force. It required understanding a type of warfare alien minds had never conceived. After hours of maneuvering, the battle ended, not with complete annihilation but with respect. Alien ships disengaged, shaken and humbled. Some had sustained minor damage, yet all crews survived. Humans had proven dominance without unnecessary slaughter. The galaxy was witnessing a new kind of power, one that commanded respect through courage, intelligence, and restraint. Captain Reed looked at the stars ahead. The humans had made their point. They were a force unlike any other. Not just warriors but protectors. Strategists, diplomats, and heroes rolled into one. And the galaxy would remember this day, not for the destruction but for the arrival of a species that could change the balance of power forever. Above the battlefield, in the silence of space, a shadow of another human ship appeared. Humanity had arrived and the alien fleets knew it. Pride was bruised, fear had been planted, and respect, reluctant though it was forming. And in the hearts of the humans there was no arrogance. Only preparation. Only vigilance. Only the knowledge that this was just the beginning. The galaxy had seen the first clash, but the war of wits, courage, and honor was only beginning. The aftermath of the first clash still hung heavy in the stars. Alien fleets had retreated, shaken and humbled, but the stories of humanity's tactics spread faster than any fleet could move. Across distant systems, whispers filled council chambers and crowded spaceports. They fight differently, they think differently, they protect even when they have the power to destroy. In the heart of the Draxel Empire, Admiral Corrin convened a secret council. The chamber was vast, circular, and bathed in the eerie glow of star maps projected on the walls. Alien leaders, some trembling, others furious, gathered around the central platform. Corrin's claws tapped impatiently on the console as he spoke. The humans are not ordinary enemies. We face a species with strategy, intelligence, and honor. We must understand them before we face total humiliation. A young officer stepped forward, presenting a captured alien ship from the outskirts of the battle. "Admiral, this vessel was disabled by humans," he reported. "We managed to board it before they could recover it fully. Inside we found recordings. Logs. History of a species unlike any we know." Corrin leaned in, eyes narrowing. "Show it." Screens flickered to life, projecting images and videos. They showed humans on distant planets, training, building, and surviving. They saw humans in small colonies, children learning navigation and strategy, adults cooperating across cities and systems. They saw humans defending their worlds against alien threats that had once seemed unstoppable. And they saw something more, a code. A principle that guided humanity through every challenge. "Strength is not measured by the fleets we destroy," the recording narrated, "but by the lives we protect. Power without restraint is meaningless. Courage without purpose is hollow. We fight but only to defend. We conquer but only to preserve life and liberty." The alien leaders whispered among themselves. Some scoffed. Some were angry. But many for the first time felt a deep unease. Humans did not fight for greed. They did not kill for pride. They did not manipulate for control. Their victories were not for glory, they were for survival, honor, and protection. Admiral Corrin's 3 eyes burned with tension. "Impossible," he muttered. "They must have flaws. No species can be this perfect. There must be weakness." Another officer, older and wiser, shook his head. "I have studied the logs, Admiral. The human's history, it spans centuries of struggle. Wars, disasters, plagues, they have survived every challenge. They adapt. They endure. And yet they retain their principles. They do not abandon morality for power. They do not sacrifice honor for convenience." In the control room of the human ship, Captain Mara Reed and her crew observed the galaxy with quiet determination. They knew the aliens were learning about them. They expected fear, curiosity, and misjudgment. Humans had always relied on 2 things, intelligence and courage. They had survived countless conflicts by understanding the enemy, anticipating threats, and acting decisively, but never without restraint. Back on the alien command ship, the discussion grew tense. "If what these recordings say is true," a council member said, voice trembling, "then we face not just a military threat. We face an example, a species that will challenge the very way we understand power and honor." Corrin's claws tightened. "Then we must adjust our tactics," he said sharply. "We cannot rely on brute force alone. If humans fight with principle, intelligence, and patience, we will lose not just battles, but our reputation, our empire, everything." The captured logs revealed more than just humans' history, they revealed human strategy. How they had overcome impossible odds with teamwork, creativity, and relentless courage. How they used the environment to their advantage, outmaneuvered enemies with precise coordination, and inspired loyalty among allies and even former enemies. The aliens were forced to acknowledge it. Humans were more than soldiers. They were leaders, teachers, and protectors. Across the galaxy, stories of humans reached alien colonies and settlements. Civilians whispered of the strange ships that had appeared, fought with unmatched skill, and yet spared lives. Tales spread of humans rescuing trapped colonies, protecting children, and showing mercy even in the heat of battle. Fear mixed with admiration. Confusion mixed with awe. Corin paced the chamber, eyes fixed on the holographic images of humans. They are not like us, he admitted finally, his voice low. They fight, yes, but their purpose, their principles, they elevate them beyond mere warriors. They are unpredictable because they do not follow our rules. And that is why we fear them. Meanwhile, Captain Reed prepared her crew for the next phase. Humans would not strike indiscriminately. They would not destroy unless absolutely necessary. But they were ready. Every scan, every observation, every analysis had prepared them to act decisively when the time came. The galaxy waited, tense and uncertain. Alien fleets recalculated strategies. Leaders questioned their pride. Colonies wondered if they should resist or surrender. And humans continued silently, moving through the stars with calm precision, guardians of their own code and the promise of a new order in the galaxy. The first revelation was clear. Humans were not just warriors. They were a force that could inspire, protect, and dominate, not through fear but through courage, strategy, and morality. And for the alien empires, that truth was more terrifying than any weapon. The galaxy had seen the humans arrive, and whispers had turned into alarm. Alien fleets gathered, their pride wounded, their fear growing. Stories of humans' courage, strategy, and restraint had spread, and now the largest fleets of the Draxel Empire and allied empires converged. They intended to crush humanity before it could claim a place among the stars. Admiral Corin stood on the bridge of his flagship, claws clenched on the rail. His massive ship bristled with weaponry, energy cannons, missile arrays, and shield generators capable of destroying entire fleets. They have shown mercy, but now, Corin growled, there will be no mercy from us. Today we end them. Far above the battle zone, the human fleet appeared. Sleek ships of various sizes, silent yet imposing, moved like shadows among the stars. Captain Mara Reed observed the alien formations through her main viewport. They have underestimated us before, she said calmly, and they will again. Prepare all systems. Shields up, weapons ready. But we strike only when we must. The alien fleets opened fire first. Energy beams tore through empty space, lighting up the darkness with streaks of blue, red, and gold. Explosions rocked the void as smaller ships were shredded. The human fleet responded, not with blind aggression but with precision. They deployed decoy drones, creating false targets to mislead alien targeting systems. Missiles fired from the Draxel fleets were intercepted mid-flight, neutralized by automated defense grids and energy barriers. Mara watched the displays with calm focus. Adjust formation delta. Warp nodes ready. Target weak points in their lines. We strike as one. The human ships moved with almost impossible speed and coordination. Each move anticipated the aliens' attacks. Ships that had been surrounded moments ago appeared behind enemy lines, cutting off escape routes. Alien admirals cursed as their carefully calculated maneuvers were countered at every step. Despite their numbers, the alien fleet struggled. Every offensive action they attempted was predicted and neutralized. Human ships never attacked civilians or destroyed planets unnecessarily, yet their control of the battle was undeniable. Entire alien squadrons found themselves immobilized, trapped by energy nets and coordinated human strategies. Amid the chaos, small skirmishes occurred near planetary systems. Humans acted decisively to protect civilian populations. Drones reinforced planetary shields, evacuated vulnerable areas, and even repaired damaged stations. Alien soldiers looked on in disbelief. They fight, but they protect, one whispered. Why do they not destroy everything? A daring move came from the humans. Using asteroid belts and hidden gravity wells, they created ambush points where alien ships were forced into disadvantageous positions. Human warp jumps allowed rapid repositioning, striking enemies from unexpected angles. Alien pilots panicked, firing wildly, but nothing could break the humans' calculated formations. On the flagship, Admiral Corin's 3 eyes glowed with fury. Concentrate fire, he roared. Target the largest ships. Destroy them. But every attack was countered, every strategy anticipated. Humans fought not just with skill, but with intelligence, and every victory was precise, controlled, and morally sound. One by one alien ships began to retreat. Some surrendered. Some simply stopped fighting, awed and terrified by the humans' efficiency. Entire squadrons had survived only because the humans never fired recklessly, never destroyed without purpose. Alien officers whispered to each other, "They are not just fighters, they are something more. Something we cannot predict." Captain Reed addressed her fleet. "Maintain distance. Do not pursue unless necessary. Let them retreat. They have learned their lesson." Her voice carried calm authority. The humans had proven dominance without unnecessary bloodshed, and that was the point. Strength, strategy, and honor had been shown to the galaxy. Below, on the planets caught in the conflict, citizens cheered quietly as human drones protected their homes. Children pointed to the stars. "The humans, they are like heroes," one whispered to another. Across the galaxy, admiration for humanity grew. Fear mingled with awe, and alien leaders knew one thing for certain: the humans could not be underestimated. The battle ended not with total destruction but with respect. Alien fleets had survived, but their pride was shattered. Humans had fought with unmatched skill, saving lives while disabling their enemies. They had demonstrated a new kind of power, one that inspired, intimidated, and commanded honor. As the human fleet regrouped, Captain Reed looked ahead into the galaxy. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. Her crew nodded. They had won this battle not just with weapons, but with strategy, courage, and restraint. And the galaxy had witnessed something it would never forget: the arrival of a species that could dominate the stars without losing its soul. Above the battlefield, the stars shone cold and silent. But among the alien fleets, a new fear had taken root. Humans were not merely soldiers. They were a force that could change the rules of war forever. And the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy still buzzed with tales of humanity's victory. Alien fleets had retreated, their pride bruised, their confidence shaken. But peace was temporary. A new threat had emerged. A rogue faction of alien raiders, larger and more violent than any humans had encountered before, was moving toward a key planetary system. They sought to dominate the inhabitants and enslave the populations. Captain Mara Reed observed the approaching fleet from her command bridge. Her eyes narrowed as she studied the enemy's formation. "They are ruthless," she said softly. "They will destroy everything in their path. Prepare all ships. This is not just defense, it is intervention." Her crew worked silently but efficiently. Shields were calibrated, weapons synchronized, and drones prepped for planetary defense. Humans had faced countless battles before, but this time the stakes were higher. It was no longer about showing strength, it was about saving lives. On the planets below, civilians had noticed the signs of the approaching fleet. Markets closed, children were hurried indoors, and alarms sounded across cities. The rogue aliens did not hesitate. Their ships moved aggressively, firing indiscriminately at settlements, destroying infrastructure and creating panic. Entire colonies were at risk. The humans acted swiftly. Small squadrons deployed first, moving silently through asteroid belts and dark space corridors, taking positions above cities and key installations. Energy shields descended, absorbing the first waves of attacks. Drones evacuated trapped civilians, guiding them to safety. Hospitals, power stations, and schools were reinforced with protective fields. Meanwhile, the alien fleets underestimated humans once again. They expected destruction or surrender. Instead, humans displayed something unexpected: compassion combined with precision. Mara gave orders calmly: engage only when necessary. Disable, don't destroy. Protect lives first. The rogue fleet advanced aggressively, firing energy beams and missiles toward the human ships. But humans had anticipated every move. Using gravity wells, asteroid cover, and warp jumps, they positioned themselves strategically. Alien ships found themselves outmaneuvered, trapped, and unable to maintain their aggressive approach. One particularly daring human maneuver involved splitting the fleet into small units, each unit targeting a different rogue battalion simultaneously. Alien commanders were shocked. They had never seen such coordination. Each human unit communicated silently, moving with perfect timing, predicting enemy behavior, and neutralizing threats without unnecessary harm. As the battle escalated, Mara Reed addressed her fleet. "Remember, we fight not to dominate but to protect. Lives are more important than territory. Show courage, strike with precision, and never compromise your principles." The humans' discipline inspired hope among the alien colonies. Civilians watched the strange ships above, marveling as they saw towns saved from destruction, hospitals reinforced mid-battle, and children guided to safe zones. For the first time, many realized that humans fought not only to win but to preserve life. Even among the rogue aliens, whispers of doubt began to spread. How can they be so fearless? How do they save lives even in battle? One muttered. Another shook its head. This is not normal warfare. They fight differently, honorably, intelligently. Amid the chaos, human ships struck decisively where necessary. Key enemy command vessels were disabled, but crews were unharmed. Missile launch systems were neutralized, energy grids disrupted, yet no civilian population was harmed. Humans controlled the battlefield completely, without succumbing to recklessness or rage. After hours of engagement, the rogue alien fleet began to retreat. Their forces scattered, morale shattered. Alien leaders from distant systems communicated in awe and fear. Humanity had intervened and changed the tide of the battle, not by destroying but by defending. Their actions were a lesson to all who had doubted them. Captain Reed observed the retreating ships silently. Her crew had performed perfectly. Humans had not only defended lives, they had turned enemies into reluctant witnesses of humanity's principles. The turning point was clear. Humans could challenge the strongest adversaries, protect the weakest, and inspire allies and former enemies alike. Above the system, the stars seemed indifferent, but the alien leaders knew the truth. Humanity had arrived not merely to conquer or fight, but to shape the galaxy through courage, strategy, and honor. And every faction, every colony, every species now understood that the humans were a force unlike any other. The battle ended with humans victorious, yet morally untainted. They had proven that true power lay not in destruction, but in control, precision, and compassion. The turning point was not just military, it was cultural. The galaxy had seen the humans' code in action, and no empire could ignore it. Captain Reed looked at the stars ahead. This is far from over, she said quietly. But we have set the standard. Humanity will not just survive, we will inspire, protect, and lead when others cannot. And across the cosmos, alien leaders whispered in both fear and awe. Humanity was here and the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy had changed. The stories of humanity's courage, strategy, and honor spread to every corner of space. Alien empires whispered in awe and fear. Planets once under strict control now looked to the stars with cautious hope. The humans had arrived not as conquerors, but as a force that demanded respect, and now their presence was undeniable. Captain Mara Reed stood on the bridge of the flagship, gazing at the galaxy that stretched endlessly before her. Her crew worked silently, confident in their skills, their courage, and their mission. They had faced fleets far stronger than their own, yet humans had triumphed time and again, not through brute force but through intelligence, strategy, and the unwavering principle of protecting life. In the orbital space above a recently saved planet, humans deployed drones to stabilize systems damaged during previous conflicts. Power grids were restored, defense shields reinforced, and civilians evacuated from vulnerable zones. Children looked up at the human ships hovering above, their eyes wide with awe. They are like heroes, one whispered to a friend. They save everyone even from war. Across the galaxy, alien leaders convened in secret. Admiral Corrin's pride had been humbled, his fleets tested and bested without unnecessary destruction. They are unlike any enemy we have faced, he admitted, claws clenched tightly. They are not just soldiers. They are leaders, thinkers, and guardians. Humanity is extraordinary. Meanwhile, humans continued their mission. Captain Reed's voice carried calmly over the bridge intercom. Remain vigilant. Humanity does not strike without purpose, but we protect, we inspire, and we act decisively when necessary. Our duty is to ensure life thrives where we can reach. The human fleet's presence inspired entire systems. Planets under threat of invasion now saw hope, colonies once abandoned now felt protected, and alien species that had doubted humans began to reconsider their stance. Humanity had demonstrated that power and morality could coexist. Strength without cruelty, courage without recklessness, victory without unnecessary bloodshed. These were the lessons the galaxy now witnessed firsthand. But even as humans solidified their reputation, shadows of the future loomed. From distant galaxies, unknown fleets began observing, measuring, and calculating. They had heard of humanity's victories, of their strange and unyielding code, and curiosity mingled with fear. Some saw humanity as a threat, others as a potential ally. On board the flagship, Captain Reed looked at her crew. The galaxy watches us, she said softly. We have set a standard. Others will test it. But we must continue to lead, protect, and inspire. Her eyes scanned the stars, each distant point of light a potential new challenge, a new opportunity, a new lesson in courage. Across the galaxy, alien species began to prepare for a new reality. Some fortified defenses, others sought alliances with humans, while many simply watched, uncertain and awed. Humanity had proven itself, and the rules of engagement in the cosmos had shifted. The concept of war, of victory, and of honor would never be the same again. Back on Earth and human colonies, citizens celebrated quietly. Across vast distances, children and adults alike looked up at the night sky, knowing that humans had not only survived but had set the example for the galaxy. Humanity's influence was no longer limited to one planet or system. It was spreading, guiding, and inspiring civilizations far beyond their reach. And as the human fleet drifted silently through the stars, Captain Reed allowed herself a rare moment of reflection. They had faced impossible odds, defeated stronger adversaries, and upheld a code that defined their species. The galaxy had witnessed the birth of something new, a civilization that combined strength with morality, courage with strategy, and victory with compassion. Humanity Prime, she whispered almost to herself. This is only the beginning. In the vast expanse of space, the stars remained indifferent observers. But the creatures below, the empires, the colonies, the species of countless worlds, knew the truth. Humanity had arrived. They had shown the galaxy a new way to fight, a new way to lead, and a new way to inspire. And no matter what challenges awaited, the humans had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with, honorable, strategic, courageous, and unstoppable. The camera pans out, showing the human fleet stretching across space, planets glowing beneath their protective watch and distant alien fleets watching silently. The galaxy had changed forever. And in the darkness beyond the stars, unknown eyes observed humanity's rise. New challenges were coming. New threats. New tests. But humanity would meet them, as they always had, with courage, intelligence, and honor. The future belonged to humanity. The galaxy would remember. Humanity Prime had arrived.